There's a spider out there with the potential to give men erections. And no, I'm not talking about Gwen Stacy, so Marvel fans, keep your minds out of the gutter. I'm referring to Phoneutria nigriventer, a species of Brazilian wandering spider. They're found in the southern cone region of South America, and its bite is notorious for being one of the most venomous in the world. This spider doesn't just have a deadly bite, it can cause some rather strange symptoms. One of the most unusual being Priapism, a painful erection that lasts for hours and is completely unrelated to sexual stimulation, which can be so bad it could lead to a devastating complication. We'll talk about that more later in our talk about Phoneutria nigriventer, the spider that can make your penis fall off. This spider is one of two species of Brazilian wandering spiders. It's also commonly called a banana spider. These names come from the spider's habit of hunting its prey instead of using a web. It often also hides in foliage of banana plants. These spiders are fairly large, with bodies that are about 5 centimeters long and a leg span that goes up to 18 centimeters, or about 2 and 7 inches respectively. As with most spiders, females are larger than males. Interestingly, the female also produce more venom, with the highest concentration found in females carrying an egg sac. The spider's venom is what really sets it apart. It's considered one of the most potent spider venoms in the world. In mice, the median lethal dose of venom from a female nigriventer is about 0.06 micrograms per kilogram, which for a mouse is about 0.018 micrograms. For perspective, that's about 1/20th the weight of a fine grain of sand, or the mass of only 20 human cells. If we were to extrapolate this value to humans, but keep in mind that venom toxicities don't necessarily scale perfectly from one species to another. It would take about 42 micrograms to kill an average-sized human, about half the weight of a single eyelash. Some believe that humans and other primates might even be more sensitive than that, with claims being as high as 10 times more sensitive. Considering that the average venom yield in these spiders is between 10 and 30 times that amount, it's no wonder these creatures have such a fearsome reputation. The venom can cause a range of symptoms, including rapid and irregular heartbeats, shock, watering eyes, salivation, lung swelling, convulsions, severe pain, dangerously high blood pressure, and, of course, death. It's made up of various peptides that target the muscles and the nervous system. They trigger excessive synaptic firing, which can lead to paralysis and asphyxiation. So is this spider truly the nightmare we imagine? Lying in wait to strike unsuspecting victims at a moment's notice? Not exactly. Research has shown the vast majority of bites result in only mild symptoms, like local pain and swelling. In fact, about 90% of bites are either mild or show no signs of envenomation, with only a very small percentage of cases being severe. In one study, only 2.3% of bites required antivenom, and yes, there is an effective antivenom. While risks are higher in children under 10 and in the elderly, fatalities from these bites are extremely rare, with only 10 deaths being reported in Brazil before 2008. So why this discrepancy? Are these spiders deadly or aren't they? The truth is, Phoneutria nigriventer doesn't actively seek out humans. They're nocturnal hunters, and they prefer small animals and insects as prey. They typically want nothing to do with us. They spend most of their time hiding in cool, dark spots during the day. And when they do encounter humans, they usually try to avoid conflict. Bites typically occur when the spider is accidentally disturbed, like when someone reaches into a place where the spider is hiding. their venom is a valuable resource, and it's used primarily for hunting and self-defense, so they don't waste it unless it's absolutely necessary. Many bites result in a dry bite where no venom is injected or a very small amount of venom. Enough to ward off threats, but not enough to waste a very precious resource for them. Now on to the part you've probably been waiting for, the penis talk. Yes, the title is not just for clickbait. This spider's venom commonly leads to a serious condition called priapism. This is a medical emergency in which an erection lasts for hours without sexual stimulation. Ever wonder why all those commercials for little blue pills have a warning for erections lasting more than 4 hours? It's because if that happens, you start to risk having something very bad happen if you don't fix it quickly. The condition is named after the Greek god Priapus, who was in charge of fertility and was known as a protector of livestock, homes, fields, and crops. The way he protected these things was with the power of non-consensual sodomy. You see, Priapus was cursed with an enormous manhood that was permanently erect, and his statues would be used as a kind of blunt no trespassing sign, suggesting that anyone who dared to commit a wrongdoing or crime would risk being forced to be subjected to his massive wrath. Basically, he'd work like a scarecrow, but not really to stop crows. More like a scare convict. These permanent erections with permanent erections seemed like a perfect namesake for the condition, which may be a fine thing for a statue or a Greek god, but it is definitely a problem for mere mortals. See, most things require oxygen to continue living, and oxygen gets most places through blood. With a priapism, there's blood, but many times the blood isn't moving, and so the affected area will slowly start to die off due to a lack of oxygen, and it can lead to gangrene or necrosis if it's left untreated. Sometimes this necessitates surgical removal of the penis. If you don't believe me, I can assure you there are some absolutely horrific medical texts on the subject, and they do include images, which I will not be linking to in the comments. Why does this happen? Well, the toxin responsible is thought to be TX2-6, a peptide that likely induces the release of nitric oxide by cells. Nitric oxide helps blood vessels relax and dilate, which allows for an increase of blood flow to certain areas, much like the mechanism behind how Viagra and other erectile dysfunction medications work. This brings us to the end of this rather long video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And yes, for those who are noticing, I am currently growing out my hair and facial hair. It's not going to be pretty, since my beard, it tends to come in patchy, but there's a reason for it. But I can't really reveal why just yet because of legal reasons. If you stay tuned for a year or two, I may be able to give you an explanation then. And on that cryptic note, I'm Frank Ciopatini with Servetty Software, and I'll see you in the next video.